Today, we'll be wrapping up the regular season here in year number 1 at the St. Louis Dragons franchise. Before we get started, I've got a couple of announcements. Number 1, the studs and duds of the year will be entering the Dragons franchise. For those of you who are unfamiliar what the studs and duds of the year are, this is basically my point system of rewarding players who perform well on the team throughout the year and punishing those who play poorly and below expectations. There is a Google form vote in the description for you to vote for the studs and duds of the year. This is how the point system will work. For the studs of the year, the guys who outperform expectations and play really well, the winner will get +3 to their rating, second place +2, third place +1. The winner will also go up in development trait unless they already have throughout the season. Jeff Okuda, for example, had a breakout challenge that he completed, went up to Superstar Dev. He would not be eligible to move up again. If none of the 3 players can move up in Dev trait, then they'll all get an additional +1 to their rating instead. As for the dud of the year, it's pretty similar. The most votes, or I guess the loser of the award, will go down by 3, second place by 2, third place by 1. The loser will also go down in Dev trait, but again, it's kind of similar. If everybody there has normal development, then everybody's going to go down by an additional rating as well. As for my second announcement, I've gotten some questions about the sliders that I used in the series. So here's a look at what we're currently rocking with. I'm still messing around with all the sliders and whatnot, but this is the set I've got currently. 10-minute quarters, all-pro difficulty, simulation game style, and here are all the sliders. So let's hop into our next 2 games. We're currently on a 4-game losing streak. Last episode did not go well. We got shut out by the Niners, and then we struggled on the road against a pretty bad Chicago Bears team, leading to our final 2 games of the year against Philadelphia and Seattle. The Eagles are currently in the midst of a playoff race, and we are going to try to play spoiler. I understand that there are incentives for us to lose, basically trying to get the number 1 pick in the draft. But the guys in the locker room don't care about that, and they have no reason to. They're still gunning for winning, even though the number 1 pick is technically on the line here. The Eagles are obviously a great roster led by Jalen Hurts and company. The team has underperformed a little bit with only a 9-6 record, but obviously on paper, these guys are really, really good. So it should be a fun one here in the city of brotherly love for Week 17. The Eagles have potentially a playoff spot up for grabs. As for the Dragons, the number 1 pick is in play. If the season ended right now, the Dragons would be picking 2nd overall. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2-13. They currently would have the number 1 pick, and we'll closely be monitoring them throughout today's episode to see how they perform. They obviously have 2 more games against, I believe, New Orleans and Carolina. So the Eagles are going to start with the ball first. We will look at the rising star quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Is on 3rd and 8. He goes up the middle for his tight end, Dallas Goedert. That's a first down to the 44-yard line as the Eagles move the chains. Philadelphia's moving it nicely. They've now got it at the 28. 2nd and 9. Play action fake. Hurts under pressure. Connects with his slot receiver, a speedster, Quez Watkins, who brings it to the 15-yard line. Now in the red zone, we'll see if the Eagles can put themselves on the board with Jalen Hurts in the zone as he goes up the middle for Kenneth Gainwell. And that is a touchdown. Or was it? He very clearly was not tackled in the end zone. And as we take a look at the booth review, clear as day, he's a couple yards shy and will be down at the 1. The play ends up being reversed, but ultimately it won't really matter. On 1st and goal, Jalen Hurts walks it in on a read option, and the Philadelphia Eagles are going to soar into the end zone. They lead at 7-0. Tyrod Taylor at quarterback, making his 2nd start of the year, is on 3rd down. He is incomplete. Pass broken up by Avonte Maddox. Not a great start for the Dragons on either side of the ball as the Eagles get it back. Hurts still in the zone on 2nd and 9. His pass is hauled in by Arthur Juan Brown. A.J. Brown brings it to the 44 for a first down. 3rd down and 9 now for the Eagles. We'll see what Philadelphia can do here on drive number 2. Hurts still in the zone up the middle. Broken up in the secondary. It's Greedy Williams who makes the play. Greedy, of course, signed by the Eagles in the offseason, only to be left unprotected in the expansion draft. The Eagles are going to kick a 59-yarder with Jake Elliott, and it is no good. After last episode where Jake Moody made one from 60, I think the Dragons were a little concerned that one would fall in, but it does not. 3rd and 8 for St. Louis. Taylor under pressure, incomplete. That's a nice play from the Philadelphia pass rush. Jalen Carter, the rookie out of Georgia, leading the way. And on 4th and 8, they're going to go for it, and it's incomplete. The Dragons thinking, what is there to lose? We had 3 wins. It's Week 17. Why not? And unfortunately, it does not pay off. So the Eagles get it back. Score remains 7-0. Here's Hurts on 1st down. Under pressure. Hurts up the middle with a nice throw into the hands of the speedster again, Quez Watkins, who brings it to the 21-yard line. Nice play there for the Eagles as they get closer and closer to scoring once again, but they've got a 3rd and goal here on the 5. Hurts drops back, looks to throw it, rolls out to the right, under pressure from Agba. He will throw it away. Good coverage and good pass rush by the Dragons defense. And it looks like they will get the stop here in the red zone as the field goal unit returns. Jake Elliott missed one from 59. This one a little bit easier from 22. And unsurprisingly, he drills it. So the Eagles now lead at 10-0. The Dragons offense has not really gotten anything going. We'll see if they can on this drive, and that's not a bad start. Deontay Foreman up the middle brings it to the 41-yard line. 2nd and 3 now with 40 seconds left on the clock. Taylor will connect with Michael Thomas, who makes a nice play after the catch to around the 20-yard line. Good play there by MT to keep the chains moving as we move into the 2nd quarter. 3rd and 7. Tyrod looks to throw it, has time, and his pass is caught only for a gain of 4. The Eagles will get the stop. On 4th and 3, the Dragons have an interesting decision, and they're going to keep the offense out on the field again. A field goal makes it a 1-score game, but again, what did the Dragons have to lose? Why not go for it? Tyrod Taylor has Disley open up the middle, but it's intercepted. Budda Baker picks it off. Yes, Budda Baker is now on the Philadelphia Eagles as if their defense could become even more talented. Disley was wide open. Tyrod's got to make that throw. So the Eagles look to capitalize off the turnover. Here's A.J. Brown. Burns Kobe Bryant and brings it to the opposing 47-yard line. Big play for the Eagles as they continue to move it down the field. 2nd down and 8 now for Philadelphia. They've got a man in motion. That's the former Heisman Trophy winner, Devontae Smith. Hurts still in the zone as he's been pretty much the entire game. Gets it back to Dallas Goedert, one of the more underrated players in the NFL. He brings it to the 31-yard line for a 1st down. Following play, just under 7 to go in the quarter. Hurts looks to throw it, has all day in the pocket. This time he gets it over to A.J. Brown, who gains 23 yards. Now from the 8, can the Eagles make it a potential 3-score lead here on 1st and goal? Will Jalen Hurts ever be out of the zone as he looks to throw it, goes short? It's Devontae Smith, wide open, walks the red carpet, and the Eagles are now ahead by 3 scores as it is 17-0. So look at this. The Dragons come on the field with a new quarterback. Zach Wilson has entered the game for Tyrod Taylor, who has been benched. Wilson on 3rd and 3 looks to throw it. Rolls out to the left side on the run. He is incomplete. Miles Jack with a hand on it. Not a great start to the day for Zach Wilson as the Dragons are just trying to throw stuff at the wall at this point and see if it can stick. Hurts on the option on 2nd down. Loses 2 and he is hurt. Oh boy, this could be bad news for the Eagles. We'll see what the extent of the injury is for Jalen Hurts as Marcus Mariota enters the game at quarterback, and he will be sacked. Levi Onwuzurike brings him down for a loss of about 7. So the Dragons get the stop, and they'll get it back. Wilson is intercepted, though. The drive ends up being short-lived. The Eagles with another turnover. Big play by LaMarcus Joyner, the veteran defensive back, to snag that one out of the air. Eagles back with it. Here's Kenny Gainwell with blocks down the field. Gets it to the 24. Gainwell's getting all the carries today with Rashad Penny getting hurt earlier in the game. And speaking of running backs who the Eagles signed this offseason getting hurt, DeAndre Swift got injured early in the game as well for the Dragons. He as well will not return. Here's Devontae Smith up the middle. Gets it to the 1. Good throw for Marcus Mariota. Still in the game. Jalen Hurts is questionable to return with what looks like a pretty unserious injury for the long term. 1st and goal. Mariota keeps it himself, and he is in. Another Heisman Trophy winner on this team is the former Oregon Duck. Makes it 24-0. The Dragons get it back, looking to just score before the end of the half. Wilson on 3rd and 5 is incomplete, looking for Khalil Shakir. Good coverage by James Bradbury. And the Dragons are not going to go for it again. They're going to send the field goal unit out, just trying to get points before the end of the half. As the 47-yarder from Cameron Dicker, the kicker, is good. And that'll wrap up half number 1. The Dragons do not look very good. They trailed 24-3 with a QB benching. As we take a look at our halftime report, we'll start in East Rutherford. The Giants and Rams both competing for playoff spots. It's the Rams who lead it in the snow 7-3. Next up, we will head to the Windy City. The Falcons are trying to clinch that NFC North, and today they look really good. They lead 17-3. Desmond Ritter's been on fire, including this awesome touchdown pass to Drake London. And finally, Washington facing off against the 49ers. The Commanders have the lead 13-3. This is good news for the Dragons, as the Commanders also only have 3 wins currently. If they had the same record, the Dragons will pick before the Commanders because Washington beat us back in Week 1. But still, the more breathing room, the better. Go, Commies, go. Now, the Dragons are certainly not playing well here. Regardless of who's in at quarterback for the Eagles, I'm a little bit concerned for this defense because they have really struggled. And then on the flip side, the offense has not been good. We'll see what Zach Wilson does here in the second half. Is on 3rd and 4, up the middle, incomplete. The Eagles open up the third quarter with a stop. It's not easy facing off against a loaded Eagles defense with so many good pass rushers and a lockdown secondary. Pass is broken up. Jalen Hurts back in the game, making the throw as he returns here for the Eagles. But his first drive of the second half results in a 3-and-out and a punt. Dragons back with it. Here's Sean Tucker, pleased to get the first down and more as he gets to the 46-yard line. Sean Tucker continues to be one of the unsung heroes of the team. When he's gotten an opportunity to play, he's been pretty good. 2nd and 10. Up the middle, intercepted again. Miles Jack picks it off. That's now 3 interceptions today for the Eagles defense. Regardless of who's in at quarterback, whether it's Tyrod Taylor, Zach Wilson, Mickey Mouse, Joe from down the road, it could be any of those guys and they would all still be struggling. 3rd and 4, pass incomplete. The Eagles do nothing off of the interception, and that'll bring out the punt team. And it looks like we're going to see a pretty good punt here from Mitch Wishnowski, as it will be down out of bounds at the 1. What a punt for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Dragons are not in a good position here. They're going to try to run it up the middle with Sean Tucker, but he is tackled in the end zone for a safety by the big fella, Fletcher Cox. As it's now 26-3. The Eagles get it back after the safety, extending their lead. Hurts alone in the backfield on first down up the middle for A.J. Brown, who continues to have a big day, mostly operating out of the slot. He has had a field day with regardless who has covered him today. Kobe Bryant's got toasted by him a couple times in particular. First down, short throw for Gainwell. He's lit up. Devin White, the NFL's leader in tackles and tackles for loss, brings him down. White is having another phenomenal game per usual as he continues to be one of the lone bright spots of this defense. 3rd and 1, incomplete, broken up in the secondary. Kobe Bryant does make a nice play there, and the Eagles are going to keep the offense out on the field here on 4th and 1. We'll see if they can get the extra yard and keep the drive going as Hurts goes short for Boston Scott, who is lit up! Devin White hits him well behind the first down marker. That's White's 3rd TFL of the game. He continues to be an absolute animal today. So the Dragons get it back. Deontay Foreman breaks a tackle, keeps his footing, and gains around 13 or 14. Good run there by the Dragons as it is now a 3rd down and around 11. Wilson looks to throw it. He will look short for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who breaks the tackle from Nakobe Dean, but Dean finishes him off at the 15-yard line. Once again, there's no reason not to go for it. The Dragons are going to continue to be aggressive, and it pays off. Deontay Foreman with ease scores the touchdown, and the St. Louis Dragons find the end zone for the first time today. I guess the Eagles were not expecting a run up the middle, which is weird because normally when it's a 4th and short, the Dragons run up the middle, and Deontay Foreman in particular is especially good at that. The Dragons get the 2-point conversion as well. Sean Tucker pleased to find the end zone. It's only a 2-score game, folks. It's 26-11. Quite the odd score. This has to be a scoreagami, right? The Eagles back with it. Hurts' screen is incomplete. You know, if the Dragons can get a couple drives together, I would not entirely rule them out just yet. 3rd and 6, Wilson under pressure, hit as he throws, incomplete. Not ideal for the comeback efforts, I will not lie. The Dragons have no reason not to go for it again. Why not? On 4th and 6, Wilson for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who does get the first down. He gains around 7 or 8. That'll keep the drive moving. 3rd and 6, Wilson. His pass is caught just shy of the line in the hands of Denzel Mims. 4th and inches, the Dragons will go for it. Deontay Foreman gets the carry, and he does not get it. Fletcher Cox and friends lead the way, and the Philadelphia Eagles get the stop. They'll get it back with 5.5 to go. Hurts on 3rd and 6, connects with Dallas Goedert. He was wrapped up by Darnell Savage at the 22. The Eagles looking to put some icing on the cake here and win this game for good as they continue to move it well. On 2nd and 14, it's a play-action fake. Hurts down the field, connects with Devontae Smith, and he is in for the touchdown. The Eagles back up by 3 scores in good position to finish it off. 3rd and 1 here for St. Louis with 4 minutes to go. Here is Zach Wilson up the middle, incomplete as it's broken up by big play Darius Slay. The Dragons are going to go for it for what feels like the 12th time today. Handoff for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and he gets 1 or 2, which is enough to keep the chains moving. 3rd and 15 now. Wilson drops back again. Under pressure, and it is broken up once more, this time by Maddox. On 4th and 15, the Dragons, again, are going to go for it. Wilson under pressure. He is hit as he throws, trying to get it to Dortch, and it's incomplete. He got it in his hands, but he couldn't hold on as the Eagles win it 33-11 and improve to 10-6, while the St. Louis Dragons lose their 5th consecutive game and now have a record of 3-13 with 1 more game left to go during the year. The Eagles are a really good team, so losing to them is understandable and not playing well is expected, but still a lot went wrong today. Jalen Hurts was very good, while our quarterback play was not very good. 3 interceptions is not ideal, and what's also not ideal, look at the average yards per attempt. Less than 4 for both of them. We could not throw the ball down the field because A, we did not have time to throw it, and B, the coverage was really good. I thought we ran the ball fairly well, even with DeAndre Swift missing most of the game with an injury. And then defensively, I thought we were fine. Devin White, 13 tackles, 5 for a loss. He is an animal, but the offense just really did not do enough with the turnovers and the lack of big plays. We have 2 more injuries to add to the list as Netane Muti and Levi Onwuzurike are both going to be out for the remainder of the season. They'll both be put on IR. We do have a couple extra roster spots now, which we're going to call up Wyatt Davis and Ronnie Perkins off the practice squad, and then we're going to sign Isaiah Buggs out of free agency to help the middle of the defensive line. We're also going to be making some other additions to the practice squad, adding Moro Ojomo and Kayshon Boutte. As we look at the Week 17 scores, obviously the one that we're looking to pay attention to is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and unfortunately they lose by 3 to the New Orleans Saints. So that means if the Bucs lose, they will get the number 1 pick regardless of what happens in our game. Obviously, I recognize the incentive of tanking, but the guys on the field are not going to try to lose. We're still going to gun for this game here in Week 18. Obviously, I would love the number 1 pick, and I'm going to be pulling for the Buccaneers to win, but we're not going to throw the game. No matter what happens, we will be picking in the top 2 officially, but obviously I would like to see the Buccaneers beat Carolina if we end up losing to Seattle. Now, the Seahawks are not very good themselves. They are 5-11. They're also probably going to be picking at the top of this year's draft. And this was certainly one of the more surprising teams in the league last year because nobody expected them to be good, and they were. And now this year, with expectations, they're really struggling. When these 2 teams played against each other earlier in the season in Seattle, and it ended up being a crazy game. The Seahawks led by 22 going into the 4th quarter, only to choke the game, leading to it going into overtime, and of course Seattle did end up winning. We'll see if Seattle can win once again, or if the Dragons can win their first home game of the entire year. All 3 of St. Louis's wins have surprisingly come on the road this year. And again, of course, we know what's up for grabs at the number 1 pick. We will talk about the Buccaneers game at halftime of this one, and we'll go over the results of that matchup. I don't want that result, though, to cloud the rest of this game. The players are going to go out and try to win it. Tyler Lockett with a gain of 14 to start things off as it's now a 3rd and 8 for Seattle. Geno Smith looks to throw it under pressure, and he's just going to launch it in the middle of nowhere. Incomplete. Good start for the defense as the Dragons get it back. And look who's getting the start at quarterback today. Both Zach Wilson and Tyrod Taylor were so bad that Mitchell Trubisky will be making the final start of the year as his pass is incomplete. Jamal Adams with some loud words for Michael Gallup. Goddamn. So the Seahawks get it back, 3rd and 10. Slow start for both offenses. Here's Geno Smith up the middle. He connects with DK Metcalf, who gets it to the 16-yard line. Seattle's in the red zone, getting closer and closer to potentially putting themselves on the board first. 2nd and goal, handoff to K9. Kenneth Walker III. He is in for the score, and the Seattle Seahawks are on the board first here in St. Louis as they take the lead 7-0. Here comes back the Dragons offense with Mitchell Trubisky under center as on 3rd and 1 it's a handoff to DeAndre Swift back in the lineup after missing pretty much all of last week in his hometown, unfortunately. It would have been nice to have him playing at home, but he gets to play here at our home instead. Deontay Foreman now to the right side. Woo! Nice juke move as Foreman brings it to the 28. Deontay Foreman is one of many players on this team who are not under contract for next year. This will be the last time we see a number of these guys with the Dragons. 2nd and 10 up the middle. DeAndre Swift fumbles the ball, and it's picked up by the defense. Tariq Woolen with the recovery. That was Devin Bush who ripped it out. So the Seahawks force the turnover, and they will get it back as it's now a 3rd and 8. Geno Smith looks to throw it. His pass incomplete, as the Dragons end up getting the stop. They'll get it back, and they are moving the ball pretty well down the field at the moment. 3rd and 5 from the 30. Short pass for Swift. Will go for a first down, breaking tackles to the 21, looking to make up for his fumble on the previous possession. We're now in the 2nd quarter, as you can see. Trubisky on first down, tries to escape the sack, but he cannot. And Ndamukong Suh brings him down. Yes, Suh is still in the NFL. 3rd and 7 now. Trubisky rolls out to the left. Under a lot of pressure. He's intercepted. Can't make that throw. It's Devin Bush who forced the fumble on the last drive. He gets the interception now. Just a boneheaded turnover there for Mitchell Trubisky. And the Seahawks get it back. Still ahead 7-0. On first down, Geno Smith up the middle. It's caught by Walker. Breaks the tackle from White. And is wrapped up by Jeff Okudah at the 25. Good play here for Seattle. 1st and 10 now, following play. Geno will keep it on the read option. Geno Smith with room. He loses the ball. Caleb Farley rips it away, and it's recovered by Jelani Tavai. A lot of turnovers so far in this game. Now, unfortunately, Devin White hurt on that play. He is questionable to return. The Dragons back with it. Trubisky with a dot into the hands of Greg Dortch. I feel like the Trubisky and Dortch chemistry has been pretty fun this year. Greg Dortch has clearly been at his best this season with Mitchell Trubisky under center, and I think you can say the same about Denzel Mims, too. I think he is most comfortable with Trubisky at quarterback. On 2nd and goal, Sean Tucker gets it to the 1. I thought he was in. Unfortunately, does not get the call. 3rd and goal, back to Sean Tucker. He gets it in this time. Sean Tucker is pleased to find the end zone for his 6th touchdown of the year. He leads the Dragons in scrimmage touchdowns this season as we are tied up at 7. The Seahawks get it back. 6:38 left to go in the first half. Kenneth Walker up the middle with room. Can DeMar Hamlin catch up? He cannot. 75 yards for Kenneth Walker, and the Seahawks are right back on top. It only took them one play to regain the lead. What a first half for Kenneth Walker. He has been an animal today. So the Dragons are right back down by 7. Good throw by Trubisky into the hands of Michael Thomas, who is hurt on the play, because of course he is. What's new? Now from the 28, 2nd down and 6 with no Michael Thomas in the lineup. He should return, though. Will Dissly against his former team with the reception brings it to the 10. I've got to say, other than the interception, Mitchell Trubisky has played pretty well. He continues to be the most consistent of the 3 quarterbacks with the Dragons. Sean Tucker is back in the end zone on 3rd down. He is pleased to have his first multi-touchdown game of his NFL career as we are tied at 14. I hope you started Sean Tucker in your fantasy championships. The Seahawks get it back. Geno Smith over to DK Metcalf, hit hard, but he does get the first down of the 35. Seattle looking to regain the lead here. Now a 2-minute drill for them as there's 1:53 on the clock. Gino goes short for the rookie, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and he does not get it. He's wrapped up by Kirksey and Tavai. The field goal unit's going to come out on the field. The Seahawks are not going to be aggressive. Rather, they're going to play conservatively and just try to go for the lead. Myers' kick is nearly blocked by Rock Ya-Sin, but it is good, and the Seahawks lead at 17-14. The Dragons get it back, looking to put themselves back ahead here at the end of the first half. Trubisky under a lot of pressure. He is going to be sacked for a loss of 12 by Uchenna Nwosu. 3rd and 22, fake handoff. Trubisky looks to throw it. It is broken up, incomplete. The Seahawks get the stop. Derek Hall, the rookie, though, hurt on the play, as Seattle gets it back with under 40 seconds and a timeout still in their back pocket. 2nd and 3, Geno Smith up the middle. It's the rookie, JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba, who gets it to the 30. The top receiver off the draft board this year out of the Ohio State University. 4 seconds left on the clock. Jason Myers drills the kick. And that'll wrap up the first half. 20-14, your score of the Seahawks with the lead in what has been a pretty competitive game. Let's take a look at some scores around the league, including the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We will start off in San Francisco. The Rams won in the snow last week against the Giants. This week, not so lucky. The Niners taking care of business. They are steamrolling the Rams as they lead at 21-3. Next up, we will head to SoFi. Patrick Mahomes is doing Patrick Mahomes things. The Kansas City Chiefs currently lead at 21-6. As expected, Mahomes, Kelsey, the usual deal as the Chiefs look to win ring number 3 in the Mahomes era. And finally, in Carolina, the Panthers defeated the Buccaneers 13-10 earlier today. And that means the Tampa Bay Buccaneers finished the season with a record of 2-15, and they will enter the offseason with the number 1 pick in the draft, which means the Dragons officially will be getting the 2nd overall pick in the draft. I know certainly not the result that I know the pro-tanking crowd wanted, but the Buccaneers really struggled to end the year. They lost a bunch of games in a row, and they will get the opportunity to presumably pick Ohio State quarterback Puma Whitlock, especially considering how bad of a season Baker Mayfield has had. So the Dragons draft spot is locked. We will enter the offseason with the 2nd overall pick, and because of that, I think we can play a little bit more freely. Not that the players themselves were tanking per se, but now that's not going to be in the back of anyone's mind. Here's Amir Smith-Marset on the opening kick return with blocks. Talk about playing more freely. Amir Smith-Marset takes it all the way for a score. The Dragons open the second half, taking the lead off of an Amir Smith-Marset kick return touchdown. Wow, what a play. So the Dragons now lead it 21-20. 3rd and 6 for Seattle. Geno Smith looks to throw it. He'll throw it away. Good coverage, good pass rush, the whole deal. DeMarvin Leal, though, hurt on the play, as the Dragons are going to get it back for their first offensive drive of the 3rd quarter. D'Onta Foreman to the right side with room. Tries to truck the defender as he gets it to the 36-yard line. The Dragons have ran the ball quite well today. I get Seattle up front is not the most dominant team in the run game. Right as I say that, DeAndre Swift loses 2, courteous of Jordan Brooks. But still, the Dragons' run game has been very solid today. 2nd and 17 after the loss of yards. Trubisky under pressure. He is sacked by Devin Bush, who's been all over the field. He's now got a sack, an interception, and a fumble force. He surprisingly has been the best linebacker named Devin on the field today. 3rd and 23. Downfield shot is caught by Denzel Mims. Touchdown, Dragons. What a throw by Mitchell Trubisky. And then Denzel Mims finishes off the job. And again, Denzel Mims has played his best football this year with Mitchell Trubisky under center. I think those two have a really nice rapport with each other. Geno on 2nd down. Boink, boink. Caleb Farley drops it twice. I mean, how do you not pick that one off, man? 3rd and 10 now for Seattle, around halfway through the 3rd quarter. Geno looks to throw it. His pass is caught up the middle by Smith-Njigba. He gets it to the 42 for a first down. JSN's had a very strong rookie season, and he's having a good end to his year. One of the few bright spots for this disappointing Seattle team. 3rd and 5, pass is broken up. Kobe Bean Bryant against his former team rips it away from Dwayne Eskridge. That'll bring out the punt team led by Michael Dixon, one of the best punters in the NFL, proving it on this play. It's going to bounce inside the 10, out of bounds at the 3. What a punt for Seattle. The Dragons were safetied last week, and sure enough, Deontay Foreman tackled in the end zone, another safety. It's Jordan Brooks leading the way, and then Tariq Woolen finishes off the job as it's now 28-22. Back-to-back weeks, the Dragons give up a safety. Not ideal. 2nd and 10 for the Hawks. Here's Geno, goes short for DK Metcalf. Hit hard by Damar Hamlin, who gets it to the 47-yard line. 3rd and 9 now for the Hawks. They're moving it well. They've got it at the 41. Here's Geno. Backs up under pressure from Mathis, and he throws it away. So the defense gets the stop, and the Dragons will hold on to their lead. Seattle will look to kick. This one is from 58. Again, we just saw Jake Moody a few weeks ago make it from 60. As Myers drills it from 58 yards out, the Seahawks cut the lead to 3. Kicking off the 4th quarter, 2nd and 10 up the middle. Khalil Shakir, these hips don't lie. He brings it to the 39. Now at the 26, 1st and 10. Trubisky, play action fake. Has an open man. It's Denzel Mims looking for touchdown number 2. He won't get it. He brings it to the 1 and is thus injured. Not great. So now it is a 3rd and goal from around the 4. Short throw for Foreman, and he is in. Deontay Foreman with the touchdown for the Dragons. And St. Louis extends the lead. They're up by 10. 35-25. So now there's got to be a real sense of urgency for the Seahawks. They've got to move quicker. 3rd and 7. Geno throws it away again. The pass rush has been pretty solid today for the Dragons, and Seattle has no reason not to go for it. Similarly to what we talked about last week with the Dragons, there's no reason not to be aggressive. I mean, the Seahawks are 5-11 for a reason. Pass for Metcalf is incomplete. The Dragons get the stop, and they can potentially make it a 3-score game on this possession. 3rd and goal from the 1. Trubisky, play action for Tucker, rolls out. His pass is dropped by Isaiah Likely. I don't know how he did not catch that one. 4th and goal at the 1. The Dragons are going to go for it. They have struggled at times this year in short yardage situations. And Deontay Foreman loses 4. It's Devin Bush again, making another play, keeping the Seahawks in the game. 25-35 with 4.5 to go. Play action for Walker. Geno Smith over to the rookie. Jackson Smith and Jigba, who gets it to the 24. Seattle now out of safety territory. 4:29 to go. 1st down from the 24. Geno looks to throw it up the middle. This time DK Metcalf. Both DK and JSN have both been very good today for Seattle. 3rd and 2 now. 2.5 to go. Up the middle. Jackson Smith and Jigba to the 1. Can Seattle punch it in here on 1st and goal to bring it back to a 1-score game? Geno will connect with Kenneth Walker, his 3rd all-purpose touchdown of the game, and it's only a 1-possession ball game, 35-32. So the Dragons are going to get it back, looking to chew some clock, finish it off, get win number 4, and that's a pretty good start. DeAndre Swift, with nobody in front of him, is going to take it for a 75-yard touchdown. What a run by DeAndre Swift, his biggest play of the year and the longest run of his entire career. Wow, that's not chewing clock, but that's a pretty darn good alternative as Swift breaks off a 75-yarder to put the Dragons back ahead by 2 scores. It's now 32-42. We'll see if St. Louis can now finish off the job. Geno on 1st down connects with Colby Parkinson, who gains 21 yards. Seattle going no huddle. They've got to move quick. Geno to the sideline for Jackson Smith and Jigba, who gets it to the 40. 2nd and 10. Minute and a half left now on the clock for Seattle. Geno looks like he's trying to call some sort of audible as he looks to throw it. Geno has time downfield. It's JSN again. Jackson Smith and Jigba has been uncoverable in the second half, looking like Rose Bowl Jackson Smith and Jigba. 2nd and goal. Geno, open, end zone, touchdown, DK Metcalf, and the lead is back down to 3. I know these two teams suck, and this is technically a tank bowl, but this has been a really fun game. Seattle now going for the onside kick as it is recovered by Khalil Shakir. Doesn't want to risk anything, so he will dive down at the 49. And now the Dragons have a chance to finish it off for good. 3rd and 12, handoff for DeAndre Swift, and he is unable to get the first down, gaining 5. And so Seattle's going to get one more chance. They're out of timeouts. They only have 40 seconds, but all they need is a field goal to tie the game. We'll see if they can do it. From the 15, Geno's pass is caught. Jackson Smith and Jigba to the 28, and he's out of bounds, which stops the clock. Down to 39 seconds now. The Seahawks still need a good 30-40 yards as JSN is tackled in bounds by Damar Hamlin. After 10 seconds are wasted, 2nd and 2, interception dropped by Damar Hamlin. That would have been such a storybook way to end the year. Damar Hamlin getting a pick 6 to finish it off. Unfortunately, not the case, though. 3rd and 2, Geno goes downfield, and it is incomplete. So there's 14 seconds left. Normally on a 4th and 2, you probably run it up the middle. Now, Seattle doesn't have any timeouts, so that would be stupid. But that's exactly what they're going to do. Kenneth Walker gets the first down, but they're not going to have enough time to run another play, and this one is over. The St. Louis Dragons snap the losing streak and will wrap up their inaugural season with their first home win of the year. 42-39, a thriller against the Seattle Seahawks. And with that, our St. Louis Dragons finish year number 1 with a record of 4-13 and will be picking 2nd overall in the draft. So let's recap this game first here. A really, really fun matchup, but we end up getting the job done. And I think this is our best win of the year. The other 3 wins we had, we were never really in control of those games. We just happened to make some big games late. But here we led for most of the second half. Geno was really good down the stretch. Mitchell Trubisky honestly played pretty well. On the ground, both teams ran it very well. Kenneth Walker and DeAndre Swift each with 75-yard touchdown runs. JSN 10 for 165. DK was great as well. Both defenses were not at their best. This was definitely a shootout, but still a very fun game nonetheless. So we finish out the year 4-13. We're going to have the 2nd pick. We would have had the 2nd pick regardless if we had won or lost that game. As we take a look at the scores around the league here in Week 18, obviously headlined by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers losing to the New Orleans Saints. As you can see here, we officially missed the playoffs. Not that that's like a surprise. I mean, we won 4 games, for Christ's sake. We had the 2nd worst record in the league. But this was still a really, really fun year. Let's take a look at the Players of the Week, which unsurprisingly includes Devin Bush. So we're going to have a more in-depth season recap in the next episode, but there are a couple things I want to go over. We're going to do studs and duds in a minute, but first, I kind of want to talk about what the Dragons can expect now that they officially have the 2nd overall pick. And we're going to go into more detail here in the offseason, but obviously, you would rather pick one, and I think this year, with there being one clear top quarterback prospect, the gap between the 1st pick and the 2nd pick is pretty big. So chances are the Buccaneers are going to look to select Puma Whitlock number 1. Assuming that happens, we are going to have to hope and pray that one of Callaghan October or Dasani Madison, 2 junior quarterbacks, declare the draft. Both of them are reportedly 50-50 on entering the league. Both players have honestly been better this year than Puma Whitlock, and if either of these guys declare, they probably will challenge Puma Whitlock to be the number 1 pick. But all we need is for one of those guys to declare, because that makes the 2nd overall pick a significantly better asset, whether we look to move down or trade one of those quarterbacks. If neither of those guys declare, then we'll probably have our choice of all of these defensive players, and we'll also be able to trade down, but obviously we would get less if said team is trading up for a defensive player rather than a quarterback. Let's now go through our studs and duds of the year. I've picked 3 stud of the year candidates and 3 dud of the year candidates. And again, there is a Google form. The link is in the description for you to vote on who should win and, I guess, lose. We'll go through all the stats here really quickly. And again, we'll go into more depth in a more traditional season recap in the next episode. Obviously, we did not have a lot of guys play well, being that we were a bad football team this year who only won 4 games. But there were certainly some bright spots, so I'm excited to go over, and certainly do deserve a boost into their ratings on both sides of the ball. And that, unsurprisingly, will start with linebacker Devin White. Devin White was phenomenal this year. I mean, my goodness, the season he had was so impressive. Devin White ended up finishing with 164 tackles and 29 tackles for loss, along with 2.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumble forces. Devin White's tackles ended up leading the NFL and doing so comfortably. He's on the final year of his deal, and the reason why the Buccaneers left him unprotected to begin with was because that he asked for an outrageous contract in the offseason that they did not want to pay, but clearly Devin White is showing that he deserves that money, leading the league in tackles and TFLs, finishing in third place for the NFC Defensive Player of the Year and the NFC Best Linebacker. He is the only St. Louis Dragons player to make the Pro Bowl, and he was probably our best overall player, period. Now, with him having a great year and going up in rating and potentially development trait, he's probably going to ask a lot of money, and you know what? He's earned it. Next up, I wanted to look at our corners, Jeff Okudah and Rock Ya-Sin. I thought they were both pretty good this year, but I think Rock Ya-Sin in particular deserves to be a Stud of the Year candidate. He started the year off struggling, but he really improved as the year went along. He was a playmaker with 3 interceptions. He had a fumble recovery as well, and he really improved in coverage as the year went along, finishing in 5th for the NFC's Best Defensive Back of the Year award. Devin White and Rock Ya-Sin were the only 2 players to finish in the top 10 of an award other than Cameron Dicker, but he's a kicker. That doesn't entirely count. And then for our last Stud of the Year candidate, I looked back on the offensive side of the ball. I decided to go with Sean Tucker, and I know this is a weird pick because he was our 3rd-string running back, but talk about a guy who exceeded expectations. That is Sean Tucker to a T, because he is like a 64 overall, and for a short yardage guy, averaging 5 yards a carry and leading the team in scrimmage touchdowns while getting some big runs in there was really impressive. Nobody could have really expected this out of a 64 overall undrafted free agent, and I feel like we've really found a long-term piece with Sean Tucker. He was just as good, if not maybe better, than our other running backs, DeAndre Swift and Deontay Foreman, who are both proven like good players. As for our 3 duds of the year, we will start off with Michael Thomas. He was a major disappointment in my opinion. Thomas is the highest rated player on the roster. I feel like he had a great opportunity to reset his career, start fresh in a new environment. That didn't really happen. He never really played all that well. He finished 4th on the team in receptions and yards. I was hoping to see him stay healthy, and he did not. He missed 4 games. He had a bunch of nagging injuries throughout the year. I get the quarterback play was not good, but you can also make that excuse for Greg Dortch and Denzel Mims, who both statistically were better than him this year, which should 100% not be the case with Michael Thomas, who's just a few years removed from winning the Offensive Player of the Year. Zach Wilson ends up finishing in 2nd place. He was the starting quarterback going into the year. He was not good. 1,300 yards in 5 starts, 5 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Mitchell Trubisky significantly outperformed him, and there's no other way around it. Unfortunately, Morgan Mahomes is not our franchise quarterback. And then for the last spot, I knew it had to be somebody on defense because our defense was statistically the worst in the league. I ended up going with Darnell Savage. I don't know, I just expected more out of him. 97 tackles, 4 for a loss, and an interception. He wasn't like horrible, but he wasn't really all that good. He wasn't impressive in coverage. He missed a lot of tackles, especially on like big plays when it's just the ball carrier and Savage down the field. Savage generally did not make the play. For a guy with 31 years of experience, thanks a lot, EA, I would have hoped for a better season out of him. So that will wrap up the episode. That'll wrap up Season 1. Make sure to vote for the studs and duds of the year down below in the comments section. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are excited for the first off season of St. Louis Dragons football. Peace out.